to meet your doom, young one.
Not without a fight.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Neca Warduke. This is based off the 1983 LJN toy line, the AD&D toy line, and it is very good figure. Now, I do have two minor complaints, two minor issues. I'll get those out of the way, but overall, it's a very good figure. I'm very excited for it. Neca did a really good job. I'm going to do some comparisons with this. Yes, he is riding on the vintage Nightmare, LJN Nightmare horse, and I thought it looked pretty cool, looked pretty good. You could actually make him ride it a little bit better if you modified the saddle and kind of cut those fake legs off of there. But anyway, let's get in and take a look at this guy. We're going to do a whole bunch of comparisons, and then of course we're going to talk about what's to come with this line in the future. Coming up. Taking a quick look at the packaging, here he is. And it does look very reminiscent of vintage style AD&D artwork. There you show the actual picture of the figure inside, which looks pretty close. Different than the Grim Sword, which I thought did not match the packaging. The Grim Sword was much darker than what the packaging art showed. Here he is in here looking really good. There is the connected chain right there. We're going to get into that. Make sure you cut the plastic off of that sheath. This kind of is cross-sell to also available right now, so they're going in waves of 2, it appears, but they're separate. They're actually separate cases of 6, I believe, 6 per case, either 6 or 8 per case, but still kind of fun. So already available is Grim Sword, and we already did a review on that. Decent packaging from Neca. So it does come with a pretty nice background. This is just pulled right out of the box, and I'm not sure if the glare is just too glaring on it, but let's see if I can cover that glare up a bit. But anyway, that's what it looks like with this little backdrop. You can open it all of the way, and if you want to maybe flatten it out, just he's got a nice cemetery look to it, something like that. Okay, here he is out of the packaging, and he looks absolutely fantastic. No, I did not get samples from Neca. I wish I did. I would love to, but I did get this from Toy Biz in Oklahoma City. That was 45 bucks a figure. Good old Steve hooked me up, and I did get one for my buddy. He hasn't come by to get it yet, but pretty exciting to finally find this and get this. I'm hearing that BBTS won't get there till October. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of the word on the street, and I did have mine pre-ordered through BBTS. And I'm so glad that I was able to find it in the wild. So check your comic book stores and those kinds of things if you want to get it early. But you will be paying a premium like I did. I paid about an $8 premium to get them early. And he's worth every bit of it. Now, I'm going to get into my first 2 issues. My only 2 issues with this guy. And then we'll get into everything else. My 2 issues are, I was kind of hoping he had a removable helmet, which I know Grimsword didn't. But I was kind of hoping to have a removable helmet and we could see what's going on underneath there. But this kind of lends itself to the whole helmet, or the Boba Fett phenomenon, or the Kylo Ren phenomenon. So once you take the helmet off, Mandalorian, it's not as mean, evil, and menacing. So that's just the way it is. So leaving the helmet on, he's forever going to be an evil, menacing being. But all you see is some eyes back behind this helmet, and so I was kind of hoping that would come off. The second issue I had was I broke this chain, taking him out of the package. I didn't realize that this was strapped in, and I cut every strap except this one, and it took me about 15 minutes to get it back on there just right, and it's a pain. So make sure you cut the strap off of this before you take it out. Don't be like me, and don't rip this chain, and yeah, make sure you have this secured when you're taking it out. Never heard of anybody else having the same problem that I did, but evidently I guess I'm the only one that had that problem, and hopefully I am the only one that has a problem, because I'm making it known to you. So getting into some accessories here, first off, we do have an extra left hand that just looks like it's kind of a grabbing hand that has armor on it to match the hand that he has, the kind of the wrist that he has. So there it is. I will be leaving it on because he is always going to be holding his shield and his sword in my display. So that's staying on. He has a pointing finger for the right hand, which does kind of go in and out. And then he does have another holding hand to go in and out versus up and down, which the one he has on it right now should be the up and down. No, that's an in and out also. So anyway, not really a big deal to me on those hands. Other accessories that he does have is this sword, which we're going to see it in a little bit, but getting this flame on and off, it's really, really tight. And I guess it has to be to look like it's actually on fire, but I think it's a wonderful accessory, fantastic accessory, and he does hold it well. And then with the sword, he does. We're going to look at this closer when we compare it to the vintage, so don't worry about that. He also comes with a shield, which, man, this is so premium, high-end, high quality. It's got a molded-in handle, and it's got a strap that is rubbery, and it's kind of tacked on there. It's really cool looking. And then the shield looks a lot like the vintage, and we will do that comparison here in a little while. The shield comparison, the sword comparison. He also comes with, like I already showed, this sword sheath. Let's get all this in frame here and make it easier on me. This sword here is like a dagger. I mean, it's really got some amazing looking paint on it, which he did not come with this back in the day. This is more stuff they're adding, which is really cool. He is super armored up. And then it's got, everything's weathered. I actually thought, oh man, I messed with the paint, but I think it was intentionally all weathered, all the blades and all that kind of stuff, because it's been through some action. Fits in there perfect, looks beautiful on him. Again, this chain, be careful with it. I was not. He does have molded in, you can't remove it, but he does have a sheath for his big sword, and it does look like it's made out of wood. It's not made out of wood, but it looks like it's made out of wood. It's plastic. And it has like a metal golden tip there, brass, gold, and then right here we got some straps looking like it really is being held on and held together. Then we have another sword sheath, or dagger sheath, I guess, on the other side here. So he's got so much going on. Some of his shoulders and joints are still pretty tight because it's still pretty new out of the package. But this one here, amazing looking detail on that, just amazing. It's got straps, and this is like some sort of an emerald or kind of thing right there. And then this is probably like a little chain hanging down, or just maybe a little rope hanging down off of it. And then here is, now this one's real tight. So let's get his arm a little more out of the way there. And it was tight going in, it's tight coming out. Yeah, I don't want anything stupid to happen on the camera there, but this is the one that I thought I actually messed up because it was so tight putting it in and out that I thought I messed up the paint on it. But then I realized it is an intentional weathered because all the rest of them kind of have that look to them, and it's got a blue handle and it is curved. So this is all some new stuff that I haven't really messed with, that I'll push it back in there, that I didn't really see with the vintage because the vintage one didn't have all that. So let's get into looking at everything else going on with this figure. So starting at the top, we're going to go ahead and do articulation and just look it over at the same time. The head looks fantastic. It's not like vac metallized, but it's a real shiny blue paint. Side to side, up and down a little bit on a ball peg. You can see his neck there, and yeah, just the helmet going on. Now going down, we have his necklace, chain. So all of this is integrated together. It looks like separate pieces, but it's not bouncing all over the place, and less chance of it breaking and all that kind of stuff with it all. Kind of, I think it's made separate and glued together, which I guess is smart, and that works out. But it just looks like a whole lot of separate pieces coming together, as if you were really dressing like a half dresser, quarter dresser. A lot of flesh tones, a lot of like muscle and all that kind of stuff going on there. The shoulders, now I'm having trouble with it going out too far. All my stuff is really tight. I don't need it to go too far, but I don't get a whole lot of range out of it, and I'm not going to try to go much past that. It is Neca after all, although everything feels good on it aside from the shoulders for me. I'm not going to stress it. You do get just about the 90 at the elbow, and then the hands go in and out and they can turn around. I'm not pulling the hands out either. I didn't have any issues with the Grim Sword, but I don't want to have issues with this one. I don't want to break anything on it. Torso side to side. And then I do believe he has a waist swivel. So hard to get anything out of it with what's going on with all of these straps and pieces and stuff. I feel like you could actually break these tips off. They are a little rubbery, but if you're not careful, you could break those off. Up under here, we have a lot of hardware going on for the legs. And you could get all the way out if you want to, but this does restrain it, so you're getting pressure on it that you probably don't want. You do have the thigh swivel, and it's kind of a loosened up joint in there. It was pretty tight at first, but now it's real loose. You only get about a 90 at the knee, and then there is a swivel at the knee also. So you have the thigh swivel and the knee swivel, and then getting down here, this is all very nice, very nice. Crazy amount of loincloth going on, loin fur, and then we have scales going on here, and then flesh going on here, and then it's off-centered here with spikes on this lower shin guard, and then we just have a boot folded over here with some emeralds or something like that. Getting down to the articulation on the foot, you do have up and down and some side to side with it. And I feel like the feet on this are better than the Grimsword. The Grimsword feet, because I guess the way the clothing and stuff, that rubber clothing, is restrictive of the Grimsword, this one actually works better because it doesn't have that issue. And so I think he's going to pose better. Plus he's not quite as much weight. So I've had a couple shelf dives on Grimsword. Taking the flame effect off actually was much easier than I thought it would be. It was so hard going on, but then I guess once you've had it on for a while, it forms to the sword a little bit better. And so it's on and off and stuff. So here is the sword without that flame effect on it. I love that flame effect though. It's pretty cool. So I will be displaying him with that flame effect. So I'll just set it aside for now because it's going back on very, very soon. So we're going to get this guy set up for a comparison side by side and accessory by accessory with the original. So we're going to start with the accessories. Why not just start with the swords? And so this is a strange one because this sword was, and I guess this one's a little chewed up. This was my extra one I had, so I'm not sure why this sword looks like that. But anyway, it's a little bit different than, it's got this same kind of molded area in there, but it's yellow, and this one's gold, this one's yellow, and this gives it more of a real world look. Kind of, how would you interpret this yellow? Well, as a gold, and then going up to the tip. So that's kind of very similar. Getting over here to the shield is very similar to the original, except it's got more added stuff to it. And so I guess getting a good look at them here side by side, you can kind of see that they're skulls, but this one looks meaner, more realistic, and it's gritty, and it looks like it's actual metal that's been beat up and dented and dinged. And this thing looks shiny and brand new. So kind of cool there. Very, very interesting how similar the shields are and all that kind of stuff. Let's get into the figure. Okay, accessories out of the way. If you just look at this, they did match this amulet that he's wearing around his neck. The shoulder strap is very, very reminiscent. These brown straps connecting everything's reminiscent. The red strap around here, the gold. So all the yellow is translated into gold over here. Now you see it just had a molded in sort of a dagger on the side, and they turned that just little molded in dagger into this massive amount of stuff going on with a chain connected to this and all that. That's just amazing. I don't know. I would have never thought to do that. I never would have thought to go that far with it. And on this side, there's really nothing, but yet they put this other dagger. So it's just over the top amazing how much stuff they put into this when the original didn't even have it. So they didn't really need to do all that. But he does have kind of the fur going on underneath this belt. And then you do see the overall aesthetic matching up with the blue helmet. And then the skin is all the same place as skin. He does have the same silver kind of bicep, whatever you call that thing. And then the blue down here going down to the spiky shin guard and the boot that's folded over. But of course they went another step with more to it, and fantastic match with a modern representation. Here he is next to Grimsword, and I've got to say this is a very good looking team. At first when I saw other pictures and reviews and stuff, I thought, wow, Warduke is way shorter than Grimsword. And now looking at them, they just team up very well. I can see a slight size increase here. And in fact, to the tips of his horns, they're about the same height. But he's about a half a head taller over here, which I don't think is massive. And so with that, Grimsword was good looking, but I would have liked him a little bit brighter colors. We see the shiny reflective. If we had the same with the green, maybe kind of like that. I don't know. Maybe something just a little bit brighter on Grimsword. I would have liked it a little more. Although Grimsword's great. He's great. Would have liked a little brighter. This feels like it's brighter and is what I expected. Almost exactly what I expected from those amazing photos we saw at SCCC. So here he is next to Skeletor and Lino, some Super 7 stuff. So these are the 7-inch scale, which a lot of people say the Super 7 stuff is too tall, too big. So we're going to get bad over here in just a second. But as you can see, I feel like this does fit. I just feel like this character is just a little bit bigger, not quite as big as Grimsword and all that kind of stuff. So I think it fits. I think it works. Okay, here he is next to the Super 7. This is the SCCC comic version of the Bat, and then this is Hasbro's version of the Bat. So you kind of get an idea of G.I. Joe Classified versus what Super 7 is going to bring to the table, so you can see size comparisons there, and that's what they look like. Here we go with the Ramen Toy Silverhawks, and this is giving you an idea of shininess, like this blue head. Let's see if we can get it to shine in the light here. And this is super shiny over here, and this is super shiny over here. A little bit less shiny than what Ramen Toy's going on with their Silverhawks so far. So, yeah, there you go with those. And this shot is ultra important because Warduke was actually in the cartoon. And so, will Hasbro make a Warduke or a Strongheart or any of those other ones that are out there? Because he was in the cartoon. And why wouldn't they? They have the ability to. Well, I have not seen one of these figures that showed up at Walmart sell. They're coming to case of 8. There's still 8, the exact case amount, at all the Walmarts around me. And that's scary if you're someone like me that wants to see Season 2, Series 2, whatever they call the next wave, Wave 2, of these figures to complete the team. I gotta see Wave 2. I gotta complete that team. If they don't complete the team, it's going to be terrible. Let alone not having him. Come on, we need him in the cartoon version. So next I want to talk about the future of this line. It looks bright. We know there's going to be 4. We've already got the Grimsword. We've got the Warduke. And we're looking forward to Zarak and Strongheart. Those both look amazing. They look like excellent upgrades to the LJN line. But what will they do past that? I just like to see them do them all. I kind of believe that they will probably do at least half of them, but there's only 19 figures, and over the course of however long, I guess you could look at stuff like the gargoyles that were up to like 7 or 8 gargoyles now, and so I could see them doing all the gargoyles, so why couldn't they do all of these? So I would definitely look forward to seeing all the rest of them. Plus, I'd like to see Hasbro do this figure and a lot more characters that were in the cartoon, but I doubt Hasbro's going to do it. I think NECA's in better financial shape than Hasbro these days. So I hope you enjoyed this look at the NECA Ultimates Warduke, and hopefully I save you from breaking your chain like I broke mine, and hopefully you got a lot out of this review. But it is an excellent figure. It looks fantastic. I'm excited for everything they make in this line. If they make all 19 characters, I'm buying all 19 figures. That's guaranteed. And the good thing about NECA is that they spread it out. It's not like they're all hitting it once. Every few months, another one rolls in for $40-ish. That's not bad. We could live with that, and we could build an entire LJN modern line. That'd be fantastic. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Have you ever hang around?
It's about time you got here.
Time I have plenty of. What have you got?
I've got a jewel for the crown of your master. That dungeon master is his for the right price.
Warduke has either become very brave or very stupid.
Guys behind?
Don't let them get away!